Welcome to Exchange Server Administration, Lost Server Recovery. As we already seen the other backup options, what if we have a single Exchange server and somehow we lost it? So now we are going to see the Lost Server Recovery, and in this video we will check the user mailbox and Exchange Admin Center functionality. We will delete the current Exchange server virtual machine and its configuration files. We will install a new virtual machine and will create an identical server same as our older Exchange, and we will restore the database from the last backup, and finally we will verify the lost server recovery. So let's jump to the server and get started. So now I am on a EX02 2019, and if we go to the Exchange Admin Center, you can see Admin Center is working fine after a refresh. And let's go to the user mailbox and try to send an email. We are receiving an email and we have mails inside our sent items and inbox there. So let me close this and let me close this as well. You see the backup G drive. We have a latest backup inside our G drive, so we will use this to restore our database. So let me try to shut down the computer and let's imagine the scenario that we lost the computer. So let's try to delete this complete configuration, and also I will try to delete the Exchange files. We have an Exchange file inside EX02. Let me delete this complete folder. Now the Exchange server configuration is completely lost. So our task is to recover our Exchange server. So let's quickly create a new virtual machine, and I'll give the name as a new Exchange generation 1, and I will give the memory as a 16 GB. That was the same to our old server. Click on next. I will connect it to the switch. Next, default location, and I will try to install the same version of Windows, that is Windows Server 2019 standard version. So click on next, finish. Now the virtual machine has been created. So let's try to set the settings. I will go to the processor and I will select the 2, same it was on a older machine, and let's start the machine now. So let me try to quickly install the Windows Server 2019 on it, and if I refresh this now the server is lost. This page can't be displayed. So let the server get started. Now we have installed the server, and if we go to the properties of this server, you can see the new computer name, work group, 16 GB and Windows Server 2019 standard version. Let me try to rename it as the old Exchange, that is EX02 2019. Click on OK. OK, and I will close it and we will do restart later. So now let's configure the network card. Let's try to configure the IP address, and I will disable the IP version 6, and the IP of our Exchange was 18, so I'll give the IP 18 and DNS 10. So this was the same IP for our old Exchange. Let's close this, and also let's set the time zone for this. Our earlier Exchange was in this time zone, so the same is set now. Let me close this and let's try to shut down the computer once again. Now the computer is restarted. Let's try to install the prerequisites for our Exchange server. Let me download all the prerequisites. URL rewrite. Let's try to install the C++ 2013 and also the Visual C++ 2012, and let's install this URL rewrite extension. Save the file. Let's run it. It's running. Accept. It's completed. Let's finish it and exit out of it. Also we have to install the .NET and Unified Communication Managed API. So let me quickly install all the prerequisites. Now the prerequisites are done. Let me also install the Server Media Foundation through the PowerShell and other Windows feature. So let me install them. All the Windows feature has been installed. Let's wait for the download. Now the download has been completed, and let me paste it inside the C drive. Let me close this, and if we go to the command prompt and let me check the NS lookup, so it's pointing in a perfect location to our DNS. Let's go to the Active Directory and reset the old Exchange computer EX02. Let me reset the account. You can see, are you sure? Yes, the account EX02 2019 was successfully reset. So let me close this And let's go back to our Exchange and let me try to shut it down. Let's go to the machine settings and let's try to add some hard drives to it. It is turned off now. Let's add two more hard drives, the same our old Exchange have. So let me add the disk 1 and disk 2 to the Exchange, and they carry the same size what was on our old Exchange. So let me browse this and add the disk 2 as well. So let me apply OK, and let me now start the machine. Now the machine has been started, and let me put the both drives online. You can see the database E and log F. This was the same drive we were having earlier in our Exchange. We will add the backup drive later on. Let's try to join this computer as a domain. Let me select the domain techicheck.inside. Let me give the credential of a administrator. Okay, and welcome to techicheck.inside. Let me restart it once again. Now the computer has been restarted, and let's try to log in. If we check with the command prompt like who am I, and you will see we are logged in as a domain administrator, that is Techicheck. So let me try to mount the Exchange. Let's mount it. It's mounted, and let's see in which drive it is. It is inside the G drive. So let's go to the command prompt. Let me type G colon to navigate to the G drive, and let's do the dir. You can see the Exchange files are there. So now we have to run the setup in a recover switch mode, like setup recover server. I accept Exchange server license terms. Now you can see it is completing all the tasks. The setup operation completed successfully, and you can see all the task has been completed successfully, and it requires a reboot to take effect. So let's try to reboot the computer once again. So now the computer is rebooted, and I have installed the backup. So let's try to recover it from the backup to the another location, the local drives. Next, I have added the backup drive. Now if you see here inside the drives, I have also added the backup drive, and here we have a latest backup. So let's try to click on next, and here we have Exchange 2019. Let me select the latest date for the backup, that is 16, and let me click on next. Here we will use the application backup Exchange, and click on next, and we'll try to recover it to the original location. Let me hit next. Let me try to recover it. So now it is initializing, and the recovery is successful. And if we go to our mailbox of administrator, we are back. Our emails are back. Let's go to the user mailbox. You can see the mail is back, and we have our Exchange back and running. Let's also go to the Exchange admin center. Let me log out from here. Let's log in with the administrator and the admin center. Let me say don't save it. You can see we have all the user here. Inside the server database, we have the database by the name of db01 2019. That is the same thing. And if we go to the virtual directories, you can see the virtual directories. We have to set all the virtual directories as our older server. We have to set all the things to as an older server, like certificates, virtual directories, Outlook Anywhere, and Auto Discover. You can see the name is ex02. It's pointing to the name of the server, so we have to point it to the mail. So we have to do these settings to our newly recovered server, and we have to also import the certificate to our new server. One more thing to note here is, if your server is a member of a DAG and you lost it, you will have to remove the database copy lying on the lost server, and then remove the lost server from a DAG membership. Then try to recover the lost server in the same way we did, and instead of restoring the database from backup, try to reseed it from other DAG members. I hope you got it now, how to recover a lost server and a lost DAG member server. Let's meet in a next module.